I'm going to be a tad academic just at the very beginning, because I've loved Attila József for over 40 years, and he's been one of the poets who's been mattered most to me, mattered a lot more to me actually than most contemporary British poets, to be quite honest. I want to do three things, if I don't overrun time. First is a tiny prelude, mentioning and celebrating some bookshops. I first saw a book by Attila József in 1977 in Compendium Bookshop, which is that wonderful bookshop that's deeply lamented, that probably went out of business about 20 years ago in Camden. Fantastic bookshop. Second bookshop I want to mention was run by Sheila Ramage in Notting Hill Gate, and it was a second-hand bookshop. And in that bookshop I saw the most wonderful, very obscure American, not very good translation of Attila József, but a translation with such passion that it just knocked you over. And Sheila's bookshop, she now no longer runs it, but that was a fantastic bookshop too. The third bookshop was a Hungarian bookshop, which was in the garage of a house in northwest London, in West Hampstead, close to the road in which Paul Celan's sister lived. So he went to the house, he opened the garage door, instead of a car, there was this bookshop with Hungarian books, and it's fantastic. And I remember finding there the Italian study by the great Marxist theoretician Istvan Mecharos on Attila József. I didn't find that book in any other bookshop. And the fourth mention is of John Retty, who, a Hungarian, if I can call him anarchist, it sums up many different things, probably very badly, who ran Torriana Meeting House for many years in Kentish Town, and loved Jozsef Attila, absolutely loved him, refused to translate him, said he was untranslatable, but absolutely loved him, and I had many conversations with him. So, forgive me that slight, but I really wanted to mention those three bookshops in one person. Right towards the end of his life, Jozsef wrote 15 brief theses on Béla Bartók. So I've attempted to write 15 or a number of brief theses on Attila József. Attila József died falling between two railway wagons close to the home of his sisters on Lake Balaton in November 1937. To stop yourself falling once you have begun to fall is rarely possible, whether the falling is intended or accidental. I don't think we really know in Joseph's case. Emotional and spiritual stress are core to the language of his poetry, just as a mathematical struggle between poverty and power, or between freedom and illness, are core to its content. Attila József's poems are Shaman songs against the abruptions of freedom, against the mythologizing of language. In the end, Jozsef Attila was not a survivor. If analysis fundamentally compromised him, it was something he entered into freely. If the myth of communism compromised him, it was something he entered into freely. Some of the poets who translated Attila József into other languages, Franco Fortini, Franz Furman, Gulevich, Zara, Eloire, René de Pestre, Edwin Morgan, Michael Hamburger, Raphael Alberti, Fayad Yanis Ritsos, Daniel Kish, wonderful translator, wonderful writer. That's where Attila József belongs, with all those people. And the poet he most translated, though he didn't translate many, François Villon, surely closest, to Attila József's family. Miklos Radnoti wrote in his second eclogue, "Dear friend Attila didn't escape. He kept gesturing no to this our established order, but tell me, who weeps that it killed him?" Something happened to Attila József, and it's difficult to put a date to what it was exactly. He grew up fatherless and he aged suddenly while not yet old, very much like his mother. My mother was a small woman. She died early, as washerwomen do. Her legs trembled from carrying, her head ached from ironing, and if she wanted a change of climate, she would climb up to the attic. Let me conjure up for a moment his emaciated figure as a student in Paris, without doubt the happiest time of his life. Let me pull from behind the face of the tragic poet the youthful Attila, the young man who showed no sorrow in his bitter struggles, who like a medieval saint called the swallow his brother. Only he should read my poems who loves me and knows me well, and has sailed through nothingness, and like a seer can foretell, because the silence in his dreams has taken on a human shape, and in his heart at times appear the tiger and the gentle deer. There are photographs of Jozef's mother, Borbala, taken at either end of the decade 1909 to 1919, the year of her death, that show her aging 30, 40 years in 10. Undoubtedly, she died from exhaustion and being shattered out by life. And as Tiboderi said, Jozef Attila was aged by life, dying at 32. Peter Domokos wrote, "Of the Hungarian writers and poets, Attila József's poetry was the most greatly influenced by the Finnish epic the Kalevala." There's a place in the Kalevala which roughly says, "Do not damage my intestines, do not knock my chest or hit my chest, do not throw away my bean-shaped kidneys." Those are lines from an Attila József late poem, echoing the Kalevala, "Quit my liver, let my heart be undevoured, leave to my spleen uninjured." But this language of pain, because that came from Jozef's hunger as a child. His intestines hurt him from hunger. And yet he went to analysis, and his psychoanalysis said the pathological sensations of the internal organs of his body showed typical symptoms of progressive schizophrenia. What about if Attila József had been analysed by a Finnish musicologist or someone who understood shamanism? He might have lived a wee bit longer. In 1936, Jozef began to work on a study of the music of Bela Bartok. Creation is possible only through dissonance. Consonance is nothing but dissonance understood. Music understood by non-music. Koestler called Jozef's poetry ideology distilled to music. He also said of Jozef's poetry that it was a miraculous union of intellect and melody. And Jozef has a fantastic late fragment where he talks about poetry being logic and lyric. Logic and lyric. And I think it's astonishing in those brief thesis on Bartok that someone with the music of Jozef's poetry could write with mathematical rigor on the musical intellect of Bartok. Ferenc Juhász, a poet I also love, in 1963 wrote a 20-page poem called The Grave of Attila József. And it opens with these stunning lines: my brother, my ancestor, my father, my Jesus genital very own dead. My brother, my ancestor, my father, my Jesus genital very own dead. And Janusz Pilinski's critical prose, Jozef is the most often mentioned Hungarian writer, with Durfee, but he's actually the most often mentioned. Come, freedom, give birth to a new order. Teach me with good words and let me play your beautiful, serene son. Is there time for a little bit more? Yeah. So I'll improvise on a poem I wrote in memory of Jozef. In 1936 he wrote a poem, I forget the Hungarian title, but the English translation is roughly, "It hurts too much," or "There is too much pain." I meant to write down the Hungarian title before I came. Apologies. It's hard to really find a lot of pain with Jozef because freedom mattered so much to him, but I have to do one or the other, so this is not pain. Forgive me, dear heart, but I can't bear this pain. It hurts too much. Your mouth on my mouth, my breast on your breast, it hurts too much. The straight in my back, body where you died a little, it hurts too much. Skin and you shiver, spilling out over my finger, it hurts too much. Sweet smelling hair, tiny gentian bursting hillside air, it hurts too much. Body in pain, little death that comes again, it hurts too much. Body of the tide is breaking, body of the breathing shaking. Wave on wave on wave until my measured breathing bursts the hill. When the tremor comes again along the backbone's ripple span. When the stunned earth's ripped apart, closely by my pumping heart. Little body of my breath, little suckler at your breasts. It hurts too much. Forgive me where the pain is greatest. Forgive the ocean and the fetus. Forgive me where I kill a little. Forgive me where I bite your nipple. Forgive me for the bridge you gave me when you arched your back to save me. When I fell through fire and memory, it hurts too much. And when we get our strength again, when we need not fear this pain, when it's all that we can do to reassert our sense of you, and when your beauty and your numbness shatter on our splintered oneness, when we see you as you are, standing, falling, breaking jar, then you're gone and we are broken. Light of the world, stream right through you. Light of the world, streaming through to me. Come through this breakdown, break down again. Come through this breakdown pain. Arch your back and I'll come to you. Open your body and pull me inside you. Let me stroke you as a sea swirl looks you. And when our bodies break again, stream in pain. And when the coma crest goes down, line on line to find the world that we were gifted in the spilt light, then perhaps we'll realize all the tiny deaths we died. Now you're gone and your body says no. When all we can write is the pureness of pain. The pureness of pain as it hits us again. Hurts too much.